data-driven, and this has to do with the fact that mentorship data should be easily available, used, and shared at your institution. And I think we're probably all doing well in some of these areas and not as well in others. So for most of you, mentorship data is easily available because you have a mentorship platform, and a lot of folks who aren't working in the Mentor Collective don't have that benefit. But is it used and is it shared? Are you really using every data point you can to your advantage? And then are you sharing that with others who could benefit or understand that story? So where we see the culture of mentorship permeated is where you can see folks that are understanding what's happening in real time, that are making quick actions and changes based on things, that they are quickly responding to students of concern, quickly responding to early insights about low sense of belonging, but also strategically using data. So here's an example from the University of Arizona Online. Heidi Creel is a senior success coach here, and she talks about within the dashboard, mentors log conversations, right? We can all see how many students are talking to how many students, but you can also see the topic of conversations. So in their case, they can see the students are talking a lot more about academics in September. So we might want to host one of our tutoring center online workshops at that time. So really thinking about how can we use this data more strategically in addition to using it for early action. And then data-driven also has to do with storytelling. So I'm also not just going to simply say reporting here, because I think we all know how to do basic reporting. But what we do see here is that storytelling really needs to be compelling and impactful, taking into mind who is the recipient of the story, and how do I use a combination of numbers and also of the narrative, like those great mentor stories we just saw in those LinkedIn snippets, in the way that I get buy-in for other colleagues interested in understanding the student experience or participants who might want to be part of that. So here's an example, Florida Atlantic. I think someone is on the line from Florida Atlantic right now. Had a wonderful program. They had the data enthusiast in the room from the beginning. So they had someone who was looking at data and monitoring data and talking about data. They had all this data at their fingertips. This resulted in them being flagged for an Inside Higher Ed feature on the success of this program. And again, you can see lots of numbers on the screen, not just counting what was happening, but the connection between what was happening and student persistence and the growth of that program, which was important to them at the time. Growth was a key metric. This also then resulted in them getting a NASPA Excellence Award, which resulted in their president writing a press release about their NASPA Excellence Award, right? So this is the type of spiraling impact we can see when you start to just take the data that's sitting in your fingertips and start getting it out there and telling your own story.